Give me a minute. I have to mentally prepare myself for this, okay? Okay. You can do this. All right. Welcome back, all you I'm sorry, I can't. No, even after a whole jump cut, I can't do this, man. I don't want to do this. And no, I don't mean talking about the anime Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, which... Side note, did anyone else think it was Arc V before you heard it said out loud? Is that just me? No, the reason I'm physically cringing is because I'm going to have to explain pendulum summoning. I almost threw up. If you ask any Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, when was a time when the game was so toxic that people just started leaving in droves? They'll probably give a bunch of different answers depending on the format, what time they played, but I can guarantee you, a majority of them will tell you when they released Pendulum Monsters. And that includes me. Yep, this was when I was officially over Yu-Gi-Oh! Not just the TCG, but even the anime. I didn't pay attention to any of it during this time. Now, for those of you that have been spared from the blight that is the Pendulum, you might be wondering what's so bad about them. Well, it's simple. It's because they're not simple. They have so many rules to them. Rules that can't even be explained on reminder text that other card games do, not Yu-Gi-Oh! For some reason. Now, the actual card itself is easy to understand. The problem is how it interacts with the rest of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, because it makes everything else more complicated for no reason. I mean, it was also a new summoning method, so it was broken too, of course. Because Pendulum cards are monsters, until you set them in the Pendulum Zone. Then they're treated as spell cards, where instead of using their monster effects, you use their Pendulum effects. That's the easy part, because now the broken part is the scales. Each card has one. You set them, and you can summon as many monsters from your hand that are between those scales. For example, if I scale it to 10 and a 6 or whatever, I can summon 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons from my hand. Yes, that's how it works. You can special summon any monster whose levels fit between those scales. That's the easy part, because when Pendulum cards are destroyed or used for other summoning methods sometimes, but not really, then they don't go to the graveyard, they go to the extra deck. Face up, where you can then Pendulum summon them on a different turn. Yes, you can do that. But wait, that's the easy part, because they can still go to the graveyard if used for, say, an Xyz material, or if someone negates the summon or placement of the card in the Pendulum Zone in that one specific instance. But hang on, that's the easy part, because if you banish them instead, that works, because being sent to the extra deck is a replacement effect. They still technically get sent to the graveyard for some reason, even though they don't touch the graveyard for any other type of effect. But wait, that's the easy part. No, actually, that is all I want to talk about. I think you get the point. I can explain Synchro and Xyz Summon easily. You take 2 guys, pay attention to the levels, slap them together, you get a bigger guy. This is just too complicated. Once you bring in all the minor rules that affect these cards and how they work, if it was just Pendulum Summoning and was just a new summoning mechanic, then it'd be fine. But for some reason, they wanted to add all this extra bullshit, like being treated as spell cards, putting them face up in the extra deck, all this stuff and how they interact with the graveyard sometimes, but not really. For low-level players, it was too nuanced to understand what was happening, and for pros who understood how it worked after they asked the people that made it at Konami, it was too easy to manipulate, which made it too broken too fast. It was just a whole mess, and for that, a lot of people left the card game at the time, including myself. It's just this whole thing made you wonder if they had playtesters over at Konami who used these cards and said, yeah, this is incredibly intuitive and easy to understand. Thankfully, they realized what a huge mistake this card type was and barely print them now, and if they do, they're usually pretty niche. Oh my god, I didn't even explain Master Rule 3. Oh my god. Yeah, believe it or not, they changed the rules, literally, the rules of the whole card game, and made Pendulum Summoning even more broken when it came out. That's a thing they did. So, fuck this mechanic. If you have fond memories of it, you're a terrible person. Don't talk to me. This was not a fun time to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Not just because of the cards, but because everyone wanted to act like a rules lawyer with how they interacted with anything. I probably said something wrong during my explanation that one of you will correct me, and I implore you, don't waste your brain power on explaining Pendulum Summoning to me. I will ignore it. So yeah, it's basically the worst mechanic in any card game ever. Every time I hear a Magic player complain about some new mechanic that they come up with in their card game, like every set, I laugh heartily in their faces with disdain, knowing what real pain is like. So yeah, fuck Pendulum Summoning and fuck Konami. God, piece of shit. Alright, this video is about the anime, isn't it? Sorry, I know my rage over pendulums, I completely forgot. So yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Hang on, let me look at my notes here. Yeah, it sucks. Look, I know I pretend I haven't seen these shows for these videos, except when I make jokes alluding to the fact that I have seen them all. But spoilers, yes, I have seen this whole show already, and I hate it. Yeah, it's legit the worst Yu-Gi-Oh anime I've seen so far. I did not have a good time watching this show. And for the record, I didn't go in expecting to dislike this show because of terrible card game mechanics. I have an open mind, especially since Zexal, while clunky, I liked it. It was fine. But my god, they don't just drop the ball here. They hurl it down an unending void like that one Ray threw Marin down. You know the one. Also, to be honest, with all these other shows, when some bullshit came up that I didn't like, I've been holding back. Yeah, really. Because I was like, is it really worth getting mad, doing a whole, like, angry video gamer type rant or whatever? I'm like, nah, I don't give that much of a shit about Yu-Gi-Oh! But considering I do hate pendulums so much, and this show, I'm gonna be unhinged from now on. Yeah, I'm coming and punching. I'm gonna rip this show a new asshole. I don't care. And if you have a problem with that, good. Leave a comment with your nonsensical argument defending this piece of shit. Go ahead. It just fuels the algorithm, motherfucker. However, I am fair, and before we get into why this show is a piece of shit, I'll admit the first arc of Arc 5 is fine. I don't really think there's anything wrong with it. It's the least worst part and the best it will ever be, the first 26 or so episodes. The rest of the 120 whatever episodes, garbage. So considering I just ranted about pendulums for so long, and before I start dunking on this show, very easily I might add, it's not going to be difficult. I guess I'll be slightly less harsh today as we talk about the first arc of Arc 5. So finally, after all that, let's dig into Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, the worst Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. I'm not excited for this. Now, thankfully, the best part of the show is constant throughout the whole thing. It's the theme song, Can You Feel the Power? Which I still don't know what that term has to do with this show after watching it, but like Take a Chance, this one was a grower. At first, I didn't like it because it tricked me. The beginning is amazing. The first few seconds, it plays this guitar riff that syncs with the visual of a swinging pendulum. It's a sound I've never heard before or since, so I was excited. I heard that and I was like, oh shit, did the composers cook for this theme song this series? And then I heard it and it's just a generic kids theme that's also kind of a rap. I think that's what the singer is trying to do. So at first, I didn't like it, but we don't skip openings in this house, like I've said before. And as I kept listening to it, you know what? It kind of slaps. So much, I think it might be my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Theme. Yeah, I'm not kidding. The worst show has the best theme song. Because while the start is hit or miss, once it hits the chorus, like the GX theme, it's so fucking catchy. You just can't get it out of your head after you've heard it a few times. I don't know or care if it's the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Theme song. I don't really give that much of a shit. You can debate about that yourselves. But for me, it got me hyped to watch some children's card games. That's all a Yu-Gi-Oh! Theme needs to be, right? The worst part about the theme song is that after it ends, you have to watch an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. So the series begins proper in the middle of a duel between a very Japanese-looking character and our protagonist for the evening, Yugioh Sakaki. And we see Yuya is definitely a showman.
How about I kick off this round's entertainment with some carnival-craving hippos? Get hoppin', hippos!
A girl watching named Zuzu Boyle, yes that's her real name, is annoyed by his antics, hitting the console in front of her, causing the area Yuya was dueling in to disappear, and he falls, showing he doesn't really care, as a boy and his mother watch on. Oh, Yuya. Unfortunately, I can't really give my thoughts on Yuya as a character until way later once we learn some pretty important stuff about him. But let me just say, I wanted to like him. I really did. Like, he is my kind of character, just so you know. But this show tries its damnedest to make you not want to like him. We see all these characters are actually in a school, a dueling school, called the yugioh School in a city called Paradise City. The principal of the school named Skip, who's also Zuzu's dad, and yes, his name is Skip Boyle, he was definitely bullied as a kid, is distraught because that machine was using solid vision, I'll get to it, Yu-Gi-Oh fans, relax, and it's gone now. So the school is doomed. Yu doesn't seem to care much about that, but more than the fact that his duel-taining was ruined. Again, I'll get to it, relax. Look, I don't like the series, but I gotta do my job and finish establishing everything, okay? I'm trying to be professional. about talking about this piece of crap.
I was just getting to my most dual-taining moves when the system went down.
Your dual-taining distracted me. You should take life more seriously.
We then learned the guy Yugioh was dueling is named Gong Strong, his good friend, who exposits to Yugioh things he already knows, a Yu-Gi-Oh classic.
Your daddy was on the field. He had all the fans smiling. He made dual-taining entertaining. Your duels are usually just embarrassing.
Yeah, that's right. Just like last time, we got another missing father. Admittedly, the reason why this one went missing makes much more sense, and I like the explanation they give. I have no issues with it. I mean, as long as this one's not also a ghost, then I guess I'm okay with it. That's when a man named Nico Smiley comes in. I believe the fans of the original Japanese version refer to him as Hitler. He's a dueling promoter and manager for the reigning dueling champ, the Sledgehammer. And you thought the dumb voices would be gone now that 4Kids is completely out of the picture? But nope. Because we got Arnold.
Don't be a wimpy loser, be a winner. Come to the Leo Institute of Dueling, and we will teach you how to crush any opponents and fill them with fear.
It's good to know Crystal Mammoth is still getting work.
Hasta la vista, baby!
Nico has come to set up a duel between Yugioh and Sledgenold because he has some connection to him, since Sledgenold became the champion years ago after Yugioh's dad, Yugioh Sakaki, never showed up for their duel and hasn't been seen since. And yes, I noticed her in the flashback. Again, I'll get to it. Stop interrupting me. I'm arguing with a camera that's not even talking to me. I'm already losing it. Skip says he won't let Yugioh duel to protect him, but Nico says by simply joining the duel, doesn't even have to win, the Leo Institute would donate a brand new solid vision machine. So Skip accepts, causing Zuzu to smack him with a giant fan. That's kind of her thing, and it's definitely the most anime thing we've seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! So far. But before negotiations can continue, Yugioh disappears. See him looking at the duel arena from a distance, watching a pendulum swing, remembering the words from his dad that no matter how tough things get, always remember to smile and have fun, because anything in life or a duel can swing your way again like a pendulum.
The key to dueling is to believe in your deck and yourself. When you're falling behind, you can always make things swing your way again. So don't worry about anything. Just try to enjoy the ride.
Sometime later, the day of the duel comes, and I guess Skip's acceptance counted because everyone is there waiting for Yugioh to show up, but looks like you show, he's a no-show. Until a clown starts making faces behind Sledgenold, and yep, it's Yugioh, here to duel, as the first action duel of the series begins.
Our duelists and their decks are primed for an epic showdown like nothing you've ever seen before. The whirlwind action will leave you breathless. It'll be the duel to end all duels.
Let's do it!
Alright, now I'll explain all this shit. So first, the new anime-exclusive dueling type thing that these shows like to do are called action duels, and they're done with the new technology, the ARC system. The ARC system standing for Augmented Reality Combat. It's a new and improved version of solid vision technology, which it's been so long I don't know if I even ever mentioned that, but solid vision is the name for Kaiba Corp's hologram tech that Kaiba made when he invented dual discs. I've probably never brought it up because it remained mostly the same until Zexal adding AR tech, and here with action duels, where the monsters and arenas aren't just holograms anymore. You can actually touch and interact with them. They have solid mass. It's actually solid vision now. And using this new technology, which was partially created by Yugioh's dad, Yugioh, he also invented action duels, which is the main duel we will see throughout this series. That's right, we dueled on bikes. Well, now it's time to stop being lazy and use those feet, because action duels have you move around the arena to look for action cards. Special cards with a lot of different effects. I'm not going to explain them all, I'll put some on screen to give you an idea. Now, in-universe, this is to add extra tension and suspense in a duel, wondering if the duelist will get to the card in time and stay in the game when they're against the wall. In reality, it's a way for the writers to bail the main characters out of unwinnable situations when they write themselves into a corner. Yeah, I'm not a fan of action duels. I was never like, oh man, I wonder how the good guy will beat the baddie. I just sat in silence knowing no matter how fucked they made it look, some random card outside the duel, which the opponent shouldn't have to consider anyway, will save them. Lame. I mean, it didn't kill my enjoyment of the duels themselves, so no. Something later on will do that. It's just action duels to me were unnecessary. They do this saving the main character with a BS-specific effect of a card all the time. I don't get why making it outside of the game is any different. Anyway, we see Yugioh use some of these action cards in his duel with Sledgenold, as the audience start to warm up to him. But them and his friends seem to notice he's running away a lot. And that's when the one light in this show appears, the thing that kept me going throughout this whole thing. Yugioh's mom, Yoko Sakaki.
He can't keep avoiding it.
I wouldn't jump to any conclusions.
Huh? Yoko, hi.
Yugioh's running is actually pretty cunning, Gong.
That's right. After the hell that was Zexal, praise be to Exodia, we have a reoccurring Milf character. And she's hot as fuck. Like, goddamn, what kind of dual-taning did Yugioh do to get her? Normally, a MILF in your show is an automatic 10 out of 10, but she unfortunately leaves the show after the first season. You'll see why. And let me say, Yu-Gi-Oh fans, you all sicken me. You bet your ass I looked up hentai of this character the second I saw her. And let me tell you, I came up with nothing. There's barely any hentai of the hot MILF character. What? How do you have a children's anime with a MILF and not have catalogs of porn of them? Have you seen the Gundam Build Fighters mom? You can't go anywhere on the internet without seeing her naked. It's especially disappointing, Yu-Gi-Oh fans, when I look up the MILF and find no porn when I go looking for it. And yet when I Google image searched Tori Meadows, because I needed her for that Woman in Yu-Gi-Oh bit. Let's just say I'm glad I had safe search on, and then people wonder why anime fans are cancer. Anyway, Yoko says that this is Yuya's dueling style, making fun of himself before others could, but that doesn't mean he's a coward. And we see he was really running around to know the location of the action cards to make sure he can get them before Sledgenold. So now he has an advantage, especially when he summons his ace monster, Odd Eyes Dragon. Despite Yuya winning the crowd over, Sledgenold is still a pro duelist, and is easily able to turn the duel around back in his favor, and it seems no action cards can save Yuya this time. But when he remembers the words of his father again, Yuya will not quit the duel, and it may have swung Sledgenold's way, but it's time for this duel to swing his way. As he draws his card, something unexplainable happens.
All you Stargazer Magician and Time Gazer Magician to set the pendulum scale! I'm taking control of this duel starting now! I'm allowed to summon monsters from level 2 through 7 all at the same time! Swing far, Pendulum! Carve the arc of victory! My monsters are ready to swing into action!
How'd he do that?
Got gone.
Yep, Yuya for the first time. Pendulum summons. Oh joy. And as sad as it is to say, there is something interesting that happens when he pendulum summons. It's that, unlike every other show where the new summoning mechanic is widely used by everybody, no one here has ever seen pendulum summoning. It's brand new. Sledgenold even accuses him of cheating, but the dueling system accepted it, so it must be legit. And we even see in a dark computer room that seems to be monitoring the duels, they say a new duel energy they've never seen before called Pendulum has appeared. And using this big new duel energy, Yuya is able to win the duel. Weirdly though, afterward, Yuya does not realize what he just did, almost as if he was in some sort of trance. Because he has no idea what everyone is talking about with this pendulum thing. We then cut to a boy who's probably a main character with that design, being informed of Yugioh Sakaki pendulum summoning. And it's crazy that not just a new summoning method has been discovered, but that it was done by a remarkably mediocre duelist with a 50% win rate. But more interestingly, the boy recognizes him as the son of Yugioh Sakaki, and he orders his people to keep an eye on him.
There's more here than meets the eye. Any facts that may relate to pendulum summoning, no matter how small, should be reported to me immediately.
Meanwhile, the Yugioh school has gotten a huge influx of applicants after Yuya's win, but all of them are only here so you can teach them about pendulum summoning. They don't actually give a shit about the school. I also see already enrolled students, Ali and Frederick. They will not be important ever. To showcase pendulums and get new students, Yuya and Zuzu hold an exhibition duel, and it's here after hearing her speak I recognize Zuzu's voice actor.
This isn't all about you! I happen to be dueling in this match too! Excuse me, your rudeness, but we met once before. The name's Dawn!
That's right, it's Dawn, the definitive best girl from Pokemon. You can't argue with that. If you couldn't tell, also last time, Iris was Tori, also she was Leo Luna. Seems to be a lot of crossover between these two series is what I'm noticing. So I was excited to hear her again. It's too bad I hate Zuzu Boyle as a person. Yes, not even a character, a person. I can't say why now, but trust me, come season 2, the third arc of Arc 5, you'll see why. So anyway, the two begin the duel. Zuzu uses melodious monsters, they're neat, they're based on musicians. Yuya has Zuzu play up to the crowd like a hero show fighting a villain. Now that's some duel-taining. But no one cares, they're here to see pendulums. So Yuya tries to pendulum summon.
It's time to pendulum summon and swing into action!
And he doesn't, because he admits he can't remember how he did it and loses the duel. So everyone thinks Yuya cheated or did some trick or something, and they leave. But the school does get one new student, Tate. He's also not important. After the duel though, Yuya is sad he wasn't able to entertain the crowd like a real duel-tainer like his dad with his pendulums. His friends tell him they'll help him learn to use his pendulum so he can duel-tain like the rest of them. So we see a blonde boy be offered to steal Yuya's pendulum cards. Oh, right, I usually give my opinion on the beginning episodes. It's fine, whatever, I don't care. I don't like this show. I'm not going to give it any more of my time than I need to. Who gives a shit? I guess since you're here, I'll explain what duel-tating is now. It's basically the show's thesis, that the goal of a duel is to give the audience a show with close plays, fun combos, and hinging the game on drawing your last pathetic card. You know, stuff we regularly already see in Yu-Gi-Oh! The main difference being it doesn't matter who wins, only that everyone had fun. Blow me. Again, more on this later, but I actually like this as a theme for this show, and I like it in some parts, but again, they fuck it up later. Also, duel-tating is such an awkward word to say. It looks fine written, I guess, but just say it out loud a couple of times. It starts to feel unnatural. Later we see, thanks to some training with Gong, Yugioh successfully pendulum summons. Wait till he finds out about that extra deck shit. The next day at school, yes, unlike GX, a duel academy here does not take the place of regular schooling, which, considering this is Yu-Gi-Oh!, is fucking weird, and it makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. Yugioh and Zuzu are headed home and run into the kid jobbers, and Yugioh is hit by some darts thrown by a boy from their school named Silvio.
Who are you?
Me? Merely one of your biggest fans. To be precise, the name's Silvio. It's an honor.
Oh, hi.
Silvio is impressed by Yugioh's pendulum summoning in the duel with Sledgenold, and invites him to show it off at the Leo Institute of Dueling, a super special, awesome, exclusive, most bestest duel academy in town. And Silvio is a top student, so we'll give them access. I'll admit, when I was watching this for the first time, when I didn't know what I was getting myself into, a couple things happened here that actually got me interested to see what was going to happen next in the show. One of them was when Yugioh reads a poster at the school.
Their classes are unbelievable! You can learn Xyz summoning, Synchro summoning, whoa! They even teach fusion summoning!
That's right, this is the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Series to not be exclusive to its latest summoning mechanic. Unlike 5Ds and Zexal, we'll see every summoning mechanic that's been introduced up until this point, which is cool because now it made the anime like the actual card game. Another is the actual duel-tating. While sounding stupid, it is kind of fun to watch, as we see in the duel in this episode, because when they get to the duel field, Silvio is not really underwooting him. He pretty much just keeps the pendulum cards when Yugioh shows them to him. I mean, it's not as petty, but it works. He also says now that he has pendulum cards, he wants to test them out, which the people who hired him don't like, they just want the cards, but that silver-haired boy who has identified as the president of the Leo Corporation and head of Leo Institute, this child, says let Silvio have his fun. What's more, Silvio has his goons kinda hold Zuzu and the kids awkwardly, and I guess that counts as them being held hostage. So Yugioh has to duel Silvio without his pendulum cards, but Silvio gives Yugioh some trash cards to trade for them, and the duel begins. Yugioh thinks he might be okay since Silvio doesn't know how to pendulum summon, but he's smarter than he looks and has the backing of Leo, so he's able to use them pretty easily. This is also where the characters learn that pendulum cards count as spells. While it's looking bad, as Yugioh is more concerned with saving his friends, he's able to use those trash cards Silvio gave him to turn the tide of the duel, save his friends, and get his pendulum cards back, all with duel-tating, and yeah, that's kind of what I like about it. The showmanship of duel-tating kind of made the main character makes a comeback thing with one card more watchable.
We're not only gonna win this duel, we're gonna do it with style!
So Yugioh wins, but Silvio wants those cards and orders his goons to just beat up Yugioh. Again, it just works. But suddenly, all of them are taken out by a blue-haired boy, and declares Yugioh to be his dueling teacher, because he wants to have fun while dueling.
I'm making you my duel guru. If I'm gonna bear down and learn to duel, I wanna have fun. How'd you stop and drop those guys? I just caught them by surprise. It was no big deal. My name's Sora, by the way. It's cool to meet you guys.
The suited man, I'm not gonna name, he does not matter, is about to get Yugioh in his cards, but the president says it's fine, because after that duel, he wonders if there's more to Pendulum and this Yugioh kid. So Silvio is gonna return, and originally, I did not like him at first, but he kinda warms up to me later. Next day, Yugioh wakes up to find Sora in his house eating pancakes made by his mom. Hey, back off, Sora, after Zexal, I need her, she's mine! But luckily, he's more concerned with Yugioh teaching him how to pendulum summon. But Yugioh does not want an apprentice and finds Sora annoying, following him everywhere. Fed up with it, his friend suggests just give him what he wants and duel him. Yugioh adding if he wins, Sora will leave him alone, but if Sora wins, Yugioh becomes his teacher, so they duel in the Yugioh school. Sora's monsters are Fright Fur monsters, which start off as cute and cuddly, but become horrifying creatures, which I know it's a kid's show and Yu-Gi-Oh, but you might as well have this guy is hiding his true nature plastered on his forehead. So two things happen here. Yu-Gi-Oh learns about pendulum monsters going to the face-up extra deck, whoopee, and also we see Sora's method of summoning.
Then I'll use a spell. It's a card called Polymerize something or other.
You mean polymerization?
Engine sharpness and fury of bear! When the two come together, You had better beware! Fusion summon!
Yep, he fusion summons, just like Jaden. Too bad Yugioh has the more recent one, and thanks to broken pendulum effects, he wins. And while not a student, Sora decides to be Yugioh's friend instead, and stick around by enrolling in the yugioh school. But Sora isn't part of the LID, the Leo Institute of Dueling, that's the shorting, where they met him, so Yugioh asks where he learned to fusion summon.
Where I come from, fusion summoning is really common. Everybody uses it.
Wait, you're not from here? So then, like, where did you grow up?
Oh, I'm too hungry to talk about it right now.
While deflecting aside, Sora is now part of the yugioh school, and it is important the summoning method Sora used, and other characters. I'm serious, you actually will have to remember who does what. It really matters, and I'm not going to keep track of it for you. Another day, we cut to the Leo Institute and see outside a mysterious man is looking on, holding a LID badge. Inside the building, Silvio is still salty about losing the Yugioh and losing the pendulum cards, and says he'll do whatever it takes to make Yugioh pay. Later, Zuzu's walking home with what's-her-face, with ice cream for the boys. When they overhear Silvio's goons talking about how Silvio has something planned for that protagonist kid, and they follow them to a harbor. I guess Silvio hangs out at harbors. Because Yugioh protected her last time, it's her turn. So she tells what's-her-face to head back to school as she heads to confront Silvio. Also at the harbor is that masked man from before who sees Zuzu and looks completely shocked when he does. Zuzu challenges Silvio to a duel, calling him a chicken, leading to literal chicken noises. I laughed at that, I won't lie. Silvio accepts to put her in her place, but then...
Hope I'm not interrupting.
And you are?
Someone on a very special mission.
Yeah, that's great and all, but can't you see we're in the middle of something? We're about to duel.
Yes, we are.
This is my battle to fight, and I fully plan on fighting it.
I've already put you through enough.
So Silvio and Mystery duel, and this is a great time to talk about the duel discs. I hate them. The Zexal ones were just impractical, these are boring. It's a tablet, it looks like that anyway, and it brings out some lame black surface to play the cards. You'd think in the show about entertaining, the duel disc would be more fun, you know, be more creative. 5 out of 10. They work, but I wouldn't wear one. Anyway, what's-her-face gets back to the school and tells Yugioh about Zuzu. Back at the harbor, Mystery plays all weird, setting all the cards in his hand face down. Okay, one thing kinda cool about Silvio, early on at least, is that his deck changes pretty much every time we see him, because he just wants to play the best cards. He's a tier whore, and he plays Monarchs here. Based. Destroys all Mystery sets, and Zuzu points out she actually felt the cold from the Monarch Silvio summoned, which shouldn't happen because that stuff should only happen during an action duel where everything's physical. Here, when it's just regular holograms outside, they should just be that, holograms. They shouldn't feel or sense anything. Silvio thinks he's gonna win turn 1, but those sets turn into monsters due to their effects. Silvio's not concerned, but he should be, because Mystery has monsters of the same level, and we just saw a whole anime about it, so you know what's coming.
I overlay my 2 level 4 Phantom Knights in order to build the overlay network. Cloaked in shadows and relentless in its objective, only its objective is to destroy. I Xyz summon Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon!
And with this dragon, Mystery destroys Silvio's board, and everyone else starts freaking out that this monster seems to be causing real damage. And also, Mystery's got some questions for Silvio.
This badge is from the Leo Institute, is it not? What's your connection to Duel Academy?
Duel Academy? Sorry, you lost me.
But seeing that he's useless, he ends the duel and reveals who he is.
Yugioh?
I mean, I guess. Gonna be honest, I don't see how he looks like Yugioh at all. I've watched so much anime, I only recognize them by their hairstyle. Zuzu wants to know what's going on as Silvio and the goons retreat. That's when suddenly a light shines from Zuzu's bracelet and the man disappears, and Yugioh shows up, both of them confused about what's happening. We then cut to...
Thank you, Claude. It seems that everything is going according to plan so far. And what a plan it is.
Not as hot as Yoko, but I'm not gonna say no to another Milf. This is Henrietta Akiba, the mother of the current head of the Leo Corporation, Declan Akiba, the silver-haired boy we've been seeing, who has informed his returning mother about pendulum summoning. and she's also shocked to see that the boy using it is Yugioh Sakaki's son. It also tells her about Silvio being attacked since he is one of their students, and who did it. We then see Silvio in the hospital and his father, who's running for mayor, is outraged because after seeing Mystery's face they think Yugioh did this since he looked like him. But Silvio is not actually hurt, he's faking it for sympathy and to get at Yugioh. But Henrietta sees this as an opportunity visiting Silvio, making sure he confirms it was Yugioh that did this to him, and says she'll handle everything from here. Back at Yusho, Gong shows up with Silvio's goons saying they're spreading lies, because they claim they saw Yugioh attack Silvio, and Zuzu is a witness. And it was as early as this is when I started to not like Zuzu, because think about every other main girl from this show. They would not think that their childhood friend, who they also love, would attack someone unprompted. They would believe in him. You know for a fact Tori and Taya would stand by their man. But she doesn't. She doesn't even try to defend Yugioh, cause she's all confused.
Hold on! Are you saying I could do this, Zuzu?
No,
And there you have it. Your own friend won't even defend you.
What a load. Already the worst heroine, doesn't even believe in her mans. This is when Henrietta shows up to find out what's what. And yeah, here Zuzu defends him a little. Yeah, a little too late. And we'll see later she doesn't really believe it anyway. And to not get the cops involved and to defend the Leo Institute's honor, Henrietta challenges the Yusho school to a battle between their students. If Yusho wins, they'll drop any charges against Yugioh. But if they win, the Leo Institute will acquire the Yusho school, which, you know, in turn would have them acquire Yugioh and access to pendulum cards. While Skip doesn't want to, the kids are ready to defend Yugioh and their school and accept. It'll be a best of 3 duels. Yusho will have Yugioh, Zuzu, and Sora, not Gong, because despite him hanging out here all the time, he's not a student here. First up will be Yugioh versus Leo's Dipper O'Brien. That's a name. He's the best student of the Exes course and has a 91% win rate, which the characters mention qualify him for this year's championships. More on that later. For now, as the duel begins, we see a hooded man has shown up outside the Yusho school. It's Declan. Which I do want to mention, that was an entire episode we just went through without a duel. Isn't that fucking weird? Now, unfortunately, these duels between the Leo and Yusho students are not that interesting to me. Yugioh wins his. And next up is Zuzu versus the best of the fusion course, Julia Crystal. Man, their parents had some crazy foresight with their names, considering Dipper used constellation-based monsters, and Julia Crystal uses Gem Knights. No brilliant fusion, so it's not busted yet, but still, Zuzu's pretty boned. Cause, again, she does not believe in Yugioh, as she's constantly questioning, oh, was that really Yugioh I saw? Even though they looked completely different and had entirely different hairstyles and even sounded different? But maybe it could be him. So this causes her to misplay in the duel, as Julia uses this to her advantage, continuing to sow doubt in Zuzu. And she loses. Way to go, Zuzu. Not only did you not believe in your friend who you've known your whole life, but you screwed your dad's school too. Yeah, cry about it. You should. Yes, I'm being mean to her. She deserves it. You'll see as the show goes on. Well, it's 1-1. The last for Leo is Kit Blade of the Synchro course, of course. Gong is more upset than me about Zuzu's loss and wishes he could avenge his friend. And he might have a chance as Sora bows out, saying Kit looks like he won't be much of a challenge. And the Leos don't care who they beat, I guess. So the finals is going to be Gong versus Kit. Now, I like Gong. He's probably my favorite character, and unlike some people, believes in his friends.
There's nobody else I'd want or trust more to fight for our school than my very best friend.
Yugioh? Now Gong's really fired up! Gong's hotter than a jalapeno in a heat wave, and Gong's gonna beat that guy like a bass drum at homecoming!
Also, I like the concept of Super Heavy Samurai, because Gong's dueling style is actually interesting. Despite everyone else in the world going for action cards, Gong doesn't use them. In fact, his strong style of the Strong Dojo don't use any spells or traps, it's all monsters. Based as fuck, how do you not like this guy? While I'm skipping the duels, one thing I do need to mention are the dueling intros. Yeah, seriously. They're great. To go with the duel-taining aspect of the show, each duel is introed by the characters in the area of the duel, usually the people dueling or the people on the sidelines. And it's done with so much pomp, circumstance, and wordplay. It's so fun. I love it.
The stage is set and the duelists are ready!
Their monsters are about to bring this graveyard to life.
In this tie-breaking battle!
The winner takes it all, and the loser loses all.
Action!
Unfortunately, they stopped doing it after Season 1. In the duel, Kit's more aggressive synchro style against Gong's defensive Super Heavy Samurai seemed to be an even match. So even that it ends in a draw. Being a draw, Skip sees this as their win, because she said that if Leo wins, they get Yusho School, but they didn't win. Oh, loopholes, bitch. But of course, Henrietta wants to win, so she proposes the 2 winners, Yugioh and Julia duel, to break the tie. But then the hooded man, this Declan, arrives, saying he will duel Yugioh. Okay, another problem I have with Arc 5 is the pacing of the duels. Now, the problem Zexal introduced was that thanks to Xyz summoning, characters would combo off on their turn for eternities, so duels would be like 3 or 4 turns at max. The problem that Arc 5 introduces is Yu-Gi-Oh cards have so many effects now, and most of the duels are the characters explaining said effects. Best example in early Arc 5 is this duel, because Declan, who is a pro duelist having a 100% win rate, shows he's mastered every summoning mechanic. This is meant to be impressive, because in this universe, as we've seen with Leo, you have to take a full-blown course to learn a summoning method, when it's just something you put in your extra deck. During the duel, Declan does comment how he actually admires Yu-Gi-Oh's dad, for not just inventing a new way of dueling, but even being the best at it. And he of course wants to keep innovating with pendulums, but Yu-Gi-Oh will not give them up, and that might be fine, cause Declan might not need Yu-Gi-Oh's cards at all.
Using these cards, Double D Savant Galilei and Double D Savant Kepler, I'm going to set the pendulum scale! No way!
Yep, Declan has his own pendulum monsters. If you don't know how he has that, well, if you haven't figured it out yet, the Leo is like a mix of Industrial Illusions and Kaiba Corp. They make the card game and all the text, so he made his own pendulum cards. And he's about to win with them, declaring that unlike Yuya, he will evolve pendulum summoning even further beyond. But being new and untested, Declan's pendulums start glitching out. And also, Henrietta gets an urgent message prompting Declan to end the duel early as all the Leos leave. We immediately cut to them, and they left because someone named Marco was attacked by someone using Xyz summoning, just like with Silvio, which does clear Yuya, but they continue to monitor him as they also search for this Marco who's missing. And then this episode, at first I liked it, until I realized what it really meant. Because now Yuya's all pouty that pendulum summoning isn't something unique to him, he's not special. So Skip decides to duel him to teach him a lesson, that his dad invented action duels to be built on and improved by others with the goal of making everyone smile. And eventually Leo will print pendulum cards, but instead of trying to keep it all for himself, he should spread the joys of pendulum summoning like an STD. Skip, shut up. You did not live through Pepe format. You don't know what you're doing. Anyway, after that, Yuya's fine now. Now you might be wondering, what's wrong with that episode? That's fine. The problem is Yugioh will learn this lesson the entire show. You're going to see the pattern happen so often. He'll get all sad about his dual-taning or whatever, and then be like, wait, my dad said make people smile. That's the way, I'll be like him. And then he's over it. It happens so much. I mean, at least I got to see Yoko again. Oh, also, I don't think I ever mentioned it. Yuya's main goal is to become a pro duelist like his dad. That's basically his goal right now. And I'm telling you this because the next day at school, Yuya and Zuzu are having lunch when Silvio approaches them, shockingly looking much better. He's come to tell them that Yuya attacked another person, a professor in fusion summoning at Lid, Marco. Also, that like Declan showed, Leo is currently producing their own pendulum cards based on Yuya's, so it's only a matter of time until everyone has them. And he leaves, saying he'll meet them all at the Arc League Championship, except Yuya, who isn't qualified. That's right, like Zexal, honestly it's pretty much the exact same pacing, that at episode 15, we get introduced to a tournament arc coming up in about 10 episodes. Unfortunately, Yuya isn't in it, because to qualify, you need to have done 50 duels with at least a 60% win rate. Yuya has done 46 duels and has a 56% win rate, so he needs to duel 4 more people and win them all. And being in this tournament is Yuya's first step to becoming a pro, so he needs to get in. So Yuya and his jobber friends look for people to duel, but no one wants to duel him, because publicly, the last duel they all saw was him beating Sledgenold, and no one wants to risk their participation against someone who beat a pro. Even Zuzu, who's also qualified. And she then leaves because she says she has something to do. Yuya heads back to Yugioh, where Nico Smiley is waiting for him, saying the people up top want to let Yuya in the tournament for beating Sledgenold, even though it was an exhibition and not really an official duel. But Yuya declines, saying he wants to get in due to his own merits, not a technicality. So Nico offers to be his manager, mainly because after losing to Yuya, Sledgenold left on a journey to train, so he has no clients. Meanwhile, we cut to the Leo kids, Julia, Dipper, and Kit. We're at the crime scene where Marco was last seen, and while they're brushed off by the cops because they're kids, Julia is especially adamant to find out what happened to Marco since he's the fusion professor, her professor, so she's close to him and wants to find out what happened. We then cut to Sora, who's scowling at the Leo building, wanting to meet Declan for some reason. When Zuzu finds him and drags him to the Harbor Dock Warehouse, is this just where the kids in town hang out? Would you guys have like local game stores or something? She brought Sora here because she wants to learn how to fusion summon, because at least she acknowledges how royally she fucked up earlier and wants to get stronger by learning a new summoning mechanic. So Sora begins teaching Zuzu when he notices Mr. Mystery. He was watching them, and the two square off and both note neither of them are from around here?
You're not from around here, right?
Neither are you.
Well, Sora deduces that he's been the one going around attacking the Leo people. Before they duel, Julia shows up hearing that. So you might be wondering why Julia's here. So she challenges Mystery because she knows if he Xyz summons, then he's the culprit. And hearing Xyz summoning intrigues Sora for some reason. But before that, Zuzu's bracelet glows again, and Mystery disappears as Yugioh shows up. And Julia's in full bitch mode today, grabbing Yugioh, demanding he admit he's the one who attacked Marco, to his confusion, when Sora tricks her, saying the masked guy ran that away, and she runs off after him. And Yugioh learns that Zuzu was learning fusion summoning from Sora, and tells them he accepted Nico's offer as his manager, and has already set up 4 duels for him to get into the championship. Sora, hearing this for the first time, wants to participate, but it's too late for him to do 50 duels. But there's another weird criteria: if you win 6 duels in a row, you just automatically get in, which is not that difficult of a requirement, honestly, for a pro TCG player. So Sora says he'll do that to enter, while Zuzu stares at her bracelet, wondering what the hell is even happening. Don't worry, Zuzu, you'll be asking that way more as the series goes on. Also, yeah, again, weird, that was another episode with no dueling. Are the writers really showing restraint? Nah, that can't be it. Okay, so the last bit of this leading up to the tournament is going to be a consistent pattern of a 2-parter of one of Yu-Gi-Oh's qualifying duels, followed by one episode that continues the plot of the mysterious Xyz summoner. I'm going to focus more on that, obviously, because it's more interesting. It's not because Yu-Gi-Oh's duels are like bad or anything, they're fine. It's just they're pretty light on plot. It's mostly a duel. Example, Yu-Gi-Oh's first duel is against Reed Pepper, a child chef whose food blog is popular with moms, including Yu-Gi-Oh's. Yes, he's a Milf magnet, which means he's my mortal enemy. But he's also my best friend because I guess this guy is just attached to this franchise more than the other one, because it's Sonic again, he's back.
It's a battle of delicious delights and mouth-watering monsters!
The whole thing is that Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't duel well because his mom doesn't make him breakfast, and he keeps getting hungry because he's a chef, so food cards. But mommy gives him some food, I believe some countries call it duel fuel, and he wins his first match. Also, the show introduces dual monster inflation, and I hate it. And like I said, after that, we get some plot. We cut to Declan, who's monitoring Yu-Gi-Oh's progress on qualifying. Here we learn he was the one who approved of him entering after beating Sledgenold. We also learn that Leo has not just detected Xyz energy, but also fusion energy on a large scale, a kind which seems to be far and above even the top duelists of Leo. Seems like there's some new people in town. Meanwhile, Zuzu is failing at learning fusion because she forgets to put a fusion monster in her extra deck. Seriously, how do you evolve your whole life around this game, and by high school age I think you are, you haven't even touched your extra deck? Like what? Sora figures he's distracted thinking about Mystery again, and he's right. And he's thinking about her too, because he's hiding nearby, observing them, as we see in a flashback to him in a ruined city, nearly beaten and tired. And then, well, you should probably figure we've already seen Xyz and fusion. A man on a duel runner shows up and attacks him. They fight with their dragons, and Mystery asks the Turbo Duelist where Lulu is, as the flashback ends. And then Mystery is teleported away again when Yugioh shows up. And we continue to follow Mystery, seeing what happens to him. He just ends up in a random part of town whenever that happens. That's when he hears an explosion, and we see another mysterious duelist beating someone, and Mystery identifies him as his comrade, Shay. Because of all the glowy stuff, that night Zuzu asks Skip where she got this bracelet, but she can't remember, and he tells her that she's had it since she was born, and neither can remember when or where she got it. The next day at Leo, Declan and his mom get sent a package of 2 cards, but not Duel Monsters cards. One's bearing the images of Marco and the guy Shay was dueling. That's right, Mystery and Shay are pulling a little Pegasusy, as they call it, sealing duelists in cards. And honestly, it's good to see some people are still out there appreciating the classics. And Declan has read the script, I guess, because he realizes Silvio was just attacked and barely injured, while now people are getting Pegasusy, so there must be 2 perpetrators with different tactics. That's when Silvio's dad shows up, still convinced Yugioh attacked his son, and he knows there are more attacks and demand they go after Yugioh. Declan refuses, saying they're investigating, but Dad won't wait around anymore, saying he'll take matters into his own hands. The next day, Yugioh is on his way to his next qualifier when he hears Silvio's dad yelling at some lid students. And then he sees Yugioh, and he sicks his duelists on him, saying Yugioh hurt his son. Yugioh denies this, of course, and saying that he didn't do it, but runs from them anyway. And as Yugioh's running, he runs into Shay, who recognizes Lid and immediately attacks them. And he Xyz summons, and remember, these Xyz summoners do real damage, and a blast is so strong it knocks Yugioh back, knocking him out, as Silvio's dad and the Lid scream in terror. Sometime later, Yugioh wakes up to Smiley, and Yugioh tries to warn him about the Xyz monster, but he has no idea what he's talking about. Yugioh's all alone. And how could a hologram be dangerous outside of an action field? Don't be stupid. He's clearly tired and stressed because of his duel, which he's late for, so they rush to the site of it. Here, Yugioh duels some know-it-all named Pierre in a quiz action duel. To get the action cards, you need to answer trivia. Also, they deal effect damage if you get them wrong, and heal you if you get them right. And Pierre's super smart at the top academic school, and Yugioh is Yuya, so he does not do well. Now I did actually like this duel because Yuya turns around the fact everyone laughs at him for being dumb and takes it in strides because, you know, he's an entertainer, that's his goal at the end of the day. Also, he uses his stupidity to his advantage, using a trap that deflects any effect damage he would have taken and uses it on one that would have dealt a lot of damage to him, and manages to win. Probably the best duel of these qualifiers, honestly, showing Yuya's adaptability and using his way of dual-tating to come out on top. Wish the rest of the show he acted like this, but we'll get there. Not much really happens in this next plot episode. Declan is still trying to make pendulum cards, but failing. Yuya is trying to figure out how to take his dueling to the next level. I feel like, for the main characters anyway, the only important thing that happens really is that Gong shows up to the Leo Institute looking for Kit for some reason. Later, we also see Julia getting even more into looking for Marco, as we see the marks Shay's monster left. And she wonders if a monster like that attacked Marco, and if he's injured somewhere. So this gives her the right to be a bitch again, because she finds Zuzu and Sora at their normal hangout at the harbor. I mean, it's where all the kids in my town hang out at. Zuzu continues to say she doesn't know anything, because she doesn't. But Julia just complains that she's a liar and hiding info for no reason. But she's all distraught because of her missing teacher, so it's okay for her to act like an idiot. So she challenges Zuzu to a duel, and Sora says Zuzu can take her, because the fusion he taught her is better than anything Lid has. And taking that as an insult to the teachings of the great Marco, Julia challenges him too.
When I'm through, you'll wish you never messed with the Leo Institute.
You're from the Leo Institute? If you're one of them, I'll battle you.
Yep, Shay is here, because like I said, people hang around the harbor for some reason. And it seems Julia is all talk, suddenly scared of a very aggressive Shay. That's when Mystery arrives, and Shay finally identifies him as Yuto.
She's with the Leo Institute, Yuto. I have to do this to get Lulu back. And if you're going to stand in my way, then you're my enemy too.
Apparently Shay is looking for someone named Lulu, because when he sees Zuzu, he mistakes her for this Lulu, and Yuto knocks him out. God, saying these names constantly back to back is going to be a pain in the ass.
Lulu! How did you get away?
Sorry, my friend. It's not her.
Julia calls Dipper and Kit to alert the cops, and they run into Yuya and tell him about the situation. Yuto leaves with an unconscious Shay and tells Zuzu not to mess with these fusion cards. They're dangerous? I mean, if he's talking about certain ones like that brilliant fusion card, then yeah. Before anything else, Yuya arriving with the Leo boys causes Yuto to disappear once again. Zuzu, again, is real torn up over this, like, a little too much. And Yuya picks up her cards that are on the ground as Julia runs to the Leo cops with Kit and Dipper. Sora says it's best they not hang around and grabs Zuzu and runs. And before Yuya leaves, Kit taunts him about qualifying for the tournament, leaving him behind his friends. He notices Zuzu left one of her cards, Polymerization. Got to the next day for Yuya's next duel against Aura Sentia, a fortune teller who divines that she will meet her soulmate. Unfortunately, the next person she meets is her opponent, Yuya, and denies they are meant to be together. What's more, she wants to win the duel for a good reason, cause she divines Yuya will basically die in this duel, so she tries to end it fast, using flip summons and ritual monsters. Again, based. Meanwhile, we see Sora has qualified for the tournament, and Zuzu tries to tell him something, but he drags her along, saying they need to go see Yuya's duel. Which isn't going too great, cause he's stabilized, but the fortune teller is really controlling fate here. That's when the damage from the duel causes the roof to collapse, falling on Yuya. But to Aura's surprise, he's fine. He defied destiny, much to her shock, and Yuya is shocked when he draws his last pathetic card that he needs to win the duel. It's Zuzu's Polymerization card. It got mixed into his deck by accident when he was rushing to get to the duel in the morning. This is bad because Yuya doesn't have any fusion monsters in his extra deck. So this is pretty much a dead draw. It seems like he's gonna lose. Until suddenly, he has some visions, and he starts dual-tating up a storm, as Sora and Zuzu show up, and Yuya makes a move that not even a crystal ball could have predicted.
I activate the spell card Polymerization! I fusion summon! Ladies and gentlemen, now taking center stage, please give it up for the spotlight-stealing, Brune-Eyes Pendulum Dragon!
Yep, just like with pendulum summoning, Yuya when fusing just knows how to do it and manages to win the duel. Seeing Zuzu, he returns her poly card, saying if she's trying to change, he'll get better too, evolving his dual-tainment skills. That's when Aura tackles him, calling him her duel mate, now that he beat her and stole her heart, much to Zuzu's annoyance. The principal of Aura School is really hot. Okay, final plot episode. The gang are walking home after Yuya's win when Zuzu spots Julia, and wanting to know everything going on, she leaves her friends and chases her alone. But before she gets any closer to her, Yuto appears and stops her. Probably because he knows what's about to go down, as Julia runs into Shay. It seems Declan is using Julia, Dipper, and Kit to lure out Shay, and it worked out as a battle royal happens, 1v3, Shay versus them. Zuzu tries to stop this knowing Shay could hurt them, but Yuto keeps her out of it, and she wonders if this is about Lulu. And Yuto admits that it's true, and Zuzu does look like her, apparently, but he realizes it's not her because Lulu wouldn't use the enemy summoning method, as he calls it. And he says whatever happens though, even if she uses fusion summoning, he wants Zuzu to survive and introduces himself officially as Yuto, and that Lulu is Shei's younger sister, which is why he's much more adamant about finding her. And Yuto leaves, leaving Zuzu in the alley. At the duel, it seems like the Leos are going to beat Shei, but Shei, using his Raid Raptors, does a risky move, putting him at 10 life points. And notes, these guys are pretty much amateurs to him, because they're just dueling, treating this like a game. He's dueling to the death, essentially, like this is war. And then comboing with his Raid Raptors, he manages to wipe all 3 of them out in one turn, not even breaking a sweat. And that's when Declan arrives. And when he introduces himself, Shei says he must be the son of Leo Akiba, and challenges him to a duel.
Declan Akiba, Leo Akiba's son. I've waited a long time to meet you.
But Declan has no reason to duel him, and also, again, he's read the script, and has figured out from Julia's testimony that he's looking for someone named Lulu, and Shei admits that's why he's been going after Lid people, and sending him the cards of Marco and that other guy, to lure out the son of Leo Akiba, cause he's the one who has Lulu. So it seems the plan this whole time was that Shei and Yuto were going to lure out Declan, kidnap him, and use him as a bargaining chip to get Lulu back. Unfortunately for them, it seems Declan and his dad don't have a good relationship. As he explains, his father does not value him as much as Shei thinks he does. But Declan says he agrees to duel Shei, and if he wins, he'll do whatever he wants. But first, Shei must fulfill a certain condition. Only then will Declan agree, as they leave. And Zuzu shows up. Geez girl, do some cardio. You're a slow-ass runner. Because when she arrives, everyone is gone. The next day, it's time for Yuya's last duel, but when he goes down for breakfast, his mom and Sora, who's been mooching off of them for quite some time, are nowhere to be found. Even when he goes to Yugioh, there's no one there. And that's when Smiley shows up. Yuya asks where his friends are, and Smiley ignores him, taking him to his final opponent. And they arrive outside the Strong Dojo, home of Gong. Yep, Gong is Yuya's final opponent. But unlike the many times they've dueled as friends, this time, it's for reals. As Gong has concluded that his helping Yuya has really stunted him from growing, and has set it up so Yuya will have to beat Gong for real and not hold back in order for him to go past this plateau. He's done this by setting it up that, like Yuya, he needs one more win to get in, so whoever wins this duel makes sure the loser doesn't get in. Also, Nico set it up that Yuya's friends aren't around to cheer him on like usual, with everyone there a student of Gong's school, and no one's rooting for him, because sometimes you have to deal with not having the home field advantage as a pro. But we do see that the Yugioh school and Yoko are watching the duel in another room, unbeknownst to Yuya, as the duel between these friends begins. And I gotta admit again, that this is what made Gong a great character to me. The setup for this duel is awesome. It's really cool to see the friendship and tough love on display. It kind of makes you not root for either side. It makes you hope that they find some way to make sure both of them move on, you know? I mean, it's some good writing here. What happens with the rest of the show, man? Why is it not like this? Because look, I want to be really clear. I know I've been praising the beginning of the show a lot. It gets worse. Trust me. Like, the next video, it's not going to be a positive one. It goes downhill fucking fast. And the duel is pretty good, mainly because to test Yuya and to evolve himself, we remember that Gong went to Kit for training. Training so he can master a new summoning method.
Summon the tuner monster, Super Heavy Samurai Trumpeter! I synchro summon my level 10 Super Heavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo!
Gong's dad at first, who I also love, they talk the same, it's very funny.
A new kind of heavy strong duel style? We can't just stand still, Daddy!
Disapproves of Gong going against the super heavy style his dojo has taught, but Gong reassures him he's not going against it, but improving on it, evolving it. Because tradition is great, but you can't be stuck in old ways, you gotta change it up in order to stay relevant. When they print new support, you gotta add it to the deck, man. This dimming really annoys me. I gotta figure out how to fix that. It's probably super easy and I can do it right now, but we're almost done and I'm lazy. And despite losing to Gong's new synchros, Yuya takes this advice to heart, because he did unlock fusion summoning, and while he thought it was more Sora and Zuzu's thing, maybe he should utilize it. One problem, he doesn't have polymerization anymore, he gave it back to Zuzu. Luckily for him, pendulum cards are broken, and weirdly seems like one appears in his deck, a card that he doesn't recognize, but one that allows him to fusion summon without poly, leading to a new fusion monster. And using this new fusion, Yuya does it, beating Gong, getting himself into the Arc League Championship. Yugiohs reveal themselves to congratulate him, to Yuya's surprise, as he apologizes to Gong for knocking him out of the tournament. But there's a week left, so Gong can still raise his win rate and qualify, so I guess it wasn't that serious after all. Way to ruin it. Now finally, we cut to Declan, who is informed of Yuya's qualification, and that Julia, Dipper, and Shei's memories have been altered. Yeah, Declan has a machine, I guess, that can alter memories. And it's never brought up again or anything, it's just a thing he has. and uses with no remorse. And that's the end of that. Okay, and he did all that because now this allows Shay to enter the tournament, ending with him saying now every duelist he wanted has gathered.
Shay will be able to participate in the championship with a clean slate. And we'll find out exactly what he's capable of, and the same with them. We'll see which duelists are worthy to fight for the future of our world.
Again, really want to be clear. So far, yeah, the show seems fine, right? Decent plot, decent writing, good-ish characters for the most part, and an intriguing mystery with what's going on with Shay, Yuto, Lulu, Leo, Akiba. It's all fascinating, right? I agree with all that. But oh man, if you haven't seen the show, you're in for a rude awakening next time. Because we're going to learn a lot. Almost too much. As this show doesn't even go from 0 to 100, it goes from 0 to 1000. With the amount of shit it's going to try to cram into the next 26 episodes. So come back next time for the most convoluted and bloated arc in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Arc League Championship. Be ready to take notes. I'm serious.
We analyzed his duel disk. The fail-safe activated. He must have revealed something.
So long as he did not reveal everything.
It will be done exactly as you have commanded, Professor.